My name is Radebe. My student number is 2266845. I'm doing a Bachelor of Consumer Science and Food and Nutrition at the University of South Africa. And the module I'll be presenting is a Food Preparation Practical 1. I'll first show you how to wear a full chef's uniform. Here is a 360-degree coverage of my kitchen, showing you my cooking stations. I have a griller at the corner. I have a stove top. I have a microwave. I will be preparing a 3-course meal. My 3-course meal consists of a starter, which will be chicken hearts with onions and mushrooms. The main meal consists of fried rice with stuffed chicken breast and sauteed green beans with hollandaise sauce. And my dessert will be a chocolate mousse as well as ice cream. I will wash my hands every time I finish with using the equipment. I'll also make sure that I sanitize my working stations, the counter, to make sure that there is no cross-contamination. I'll also wash every equipment I use after using it to make sure there's no contamination, of course. For my starter, which is chicken hearts with onions and mushrooms, I'll use chicken hearts, butter, flour, vegetable oil, mushrooms, garlic salt, chicken stock, black pepper, oregano, onions, for my fried rice on the main meal, I will use rice, boiling water, salt, butter, oil, turmeric for decoration, for color, and my peppers for decoration. For my stuffed chicken breast and my main meal, I will use 2 chicken breasts. I'll use black pepper, feta cheese, garlic clove, 1 garlic clove. I will use spinach leaves, 2. For my ginger carrot emulsion, which I'll use for my stuffed chicken breast, I will use carrot juice, ginger paste, cream, and unsalted butter. For my sauteed green beans with hollandaise sauce, I will use green beans, butter, salt, pepper, olive oil. For my hollandaise sauce, I will use unsalted butter, water, 1 egg yolk, salt and pepper, a quarter of lemon. For my chocolate mousse and my dessert, I will use dark chocolates, 5 medium eggs, caster sugar, unsalted butter, I'll use strawberries for my toppings, my decoration. I'll also use cocoa powder for my decorations. For my ice cream, my dessert, I will use evaporated milk, I'll use sugar, salt, corn flour, milk, 1 egg, vanilla essence, almond essence, and cream. The cooking skills I'll use for my dishes will be for chicken hearts with onions and mushrooms, I will use the braising method, cooking method, and then for fried rice I'll use a boiling and frying method, and for stuffed chicken breast I'll use a grilling method. For sauteed green beans with hollandaise sauce, I'll use a blanching method. For my chocolate mousse, I will use a double boiling method, which is by placing a bowl over a pan of simmering water, and I will make sure that the bowl does not touch the bottom, or the water does not touch the bottom of the bowl, rather. And for my ice cream, I will use a microwave method to scald the milk. Then I'll use the simmering method to cook it. Okay, now I'm preparing my dishes. I'll first start with my starter, which is chicken hearts with onions and mushrooms. What I'll do first is wash my hands. and wipe them. Then I have to measure my butter first. My butter is supposed to be 120 mils and it's supposed to be melted. So what I'll do is measure my butter using my 120 ml measuring cup. 125 mils. Okay. Now I'm preparing my dishes. I'll first start with my starter, which is chicken hearts with onions and mushrooms. What I'll do first is wash my hands, then wipe them, and then my first step is to measure my butter. It is supposed to be 120 mils, so I'll use my 125 mils measuring cup. Here's my butter. And I'll transfer it to the microwave safe bowl. And then I take it to the microwave. Then I melt it. Adding my flour slowly in the melted batter to make blocks. Supposed to cook it for 6 minutes or until it is medium brown color. I then sanitize the area that I've been using to measure the ingredients. After that, I'll have to measure my chicken hearts. The scale I have it measures to 500 grams, and my chicken hearts are supposed to be 500 grams. Here they are. They are 500 grams now. washing my measuring scales top to measure the next ingredient. Now I have to measure my oil. Vegetable oil is supposed to be 15 mils. I'm using a 15 ml measuring spoon. And then I have to add it to a pan over medium-high heat. Here's my pan. I'm adding my oil. Sorry. After that, I have to wash the measuring spoon. Now my sliced chicken hearts, I have to put them in a bowl so that I can slice my mushrooms and my onions. Wash my hands. My mushrooms are supposed to be 125 mils, and 125 mils of mushrooms 2 grams is equals to 66 grams. So use a measuring scale to measure the mushrooms. So it's a bit lower. It's a bit lower than 50 grams. It's between 70 and 60. Okay, what I first do is remove the tops of the onions, then cut my onions in halves. I'm supposed to use a half of this onion, so I'll remove the outside. So my onion is in half, so I have to wash it first. Then cut my onions in halves. I'll use a paring knife to cut them, and I'll cut them in julienne slices. See, my onions are in julienne slices. Julienne slices. Now I have to add my onions and mushrooms in the cooking oil. I have to cook my mushrooms and onions for 3 minutes. After that, I'll wash the equipment I've been using. And now I have to add chicken hearts and 2.5 garlic salt. Here are the chicken hearts. I'm adding them on garlic salt is supposed to be 2.5, so I'm using a 5 ml measuring spoon, and I'll measure half of garlic salt. It's half, so I'll add it as well on the chicken hearts. I'll add half of garlic salt, which is going to be 2.5, a half of 5 mils, 2.5 mils, and the chicken hearts, sorry. And then using 1.2 ml spoon, I'll measure black pepper, which is supposed to be 1.25. It's my black pepper. Using a 1.2 ml measuring spoon, I'll measure my dried oregano. It's supposed to be 1.25 mils, and I'll add it in the chicken hearts in the pot. After that, I'll have to add the rocks that I made earlier. Add it in the chicken hearts. Ooh. And I'll have to stir. I'll have to bring it to rapid simmer and then reduce heat to low simmer. Then I covered it, and I'll have to cook it for 10 minutes. Now for my main meal, I'm supposed to have 180 ml of water, so I'll use 125 ml of measuring spoon, plus 3 or 15 ml of measuring spoons, and 5 ml to measure the water. One 125 ml of water. One, 2, 3 15 ml water, and 1 5 ml. That is equals to 180 ml. My water is boiling, it's supposed to boil, so that I can add water, so that I can add rice. In my boiling water, I have to add 1.5 ml of salt. I'm measuring. And then I will have to add my rice. My rice is supposed to be 90 ml. And using the measuring, my rice is supposed to be 90 ml, and 90 ml of rice is equal to 76.1 grams. So I'll have to use a measuring scale to measure my rice. 76. So I have to add my rice and the boiling water. The reason for slowly stirring my rice into the boiling salted water is that the water is not supposed to drop below boiling point. And then now I have to cover my saucepan, and then I have to lower the heat and simmer for 20 minutes. Now I'm seasoning my chicken breast with a pepper to taste. Now measuring my feta, it is supposed to be 100 grams. It is now 100 grams. I have to cut my feta into oblong pieces, then roll the cheese in oil and crushed garlic. I'm removing my feta. And I had to wash the chopping board I used, and then use a separate chopping board for my garlic. First I have to sanitize the area that I used to do the chicken breast, and then wash the equipment that I used. Then now I have to crush my garlic. Firstly, I have to do this like this to crush it. The knife is supposed to be this way on top the garlic, then press the garlic down, and then I need 1 clove of garlic, and then after that I have to peel the outside. And then cut my garlic into thin pieces. Make it thin, very thin. See, my garlic is now like this, and I have to add oil to crush it, salt to crush it. Beet salt. Press it with the knife. Now my garlic is crushed. And now I have to roll cheese in oil, then in crushed garlic. Here's my cheese, and then here's my oil. Roll it in oil. Then in crushed garlic. After that, I have to snip out the white stems of the spinach. And then wrap around the pieces of cheese. My cheese. Wrapping my spinach. It's wrapped around. Now I'm wrapping the chicken breast around the cheese parcels, and I'll have to secure them with toothpicks. Yeah, they are. I need to secure them with toothpicks. Here my chicken breast wraps, stuffed chicken breast, and then I have to cover the chicken with a foil and make sure that the final product is in the shape of a cylinder, and then grill them. Here's my foil, here's my chicken breast. Use them on the griller. Now I'm putting my rice in the refrigerator. And then for a ginger carrot emulsion for the stuffed chicken breast, I have to measure the cold and salted butter. It has to be 90 grams. It is 90 grams. I have to place my carrot juice and ginger paste in a saucepan. My carrot juice is 250. I use the 250 ml cup. And my ginger paste is supposed to be 2.5, so I will use the 2.5 measuring spoon. Yeah, it's okay. And I have to bring it to simmer and then remove the first layer of foam that rises on the top. Okay, we have to first remove the first layer. The first layer after simmering the ginger carrot emulsion. And then we have to simmer it for 10 to 12 minutes or until the juice is reduced. I'm adding my butter, which is 15 ml of swirl. I'm using a 15 ml measuring spoon to measure both the oil and the butter. I sanitize the area I was using to prepare. And then I have to wash the dishes, the equipment I was using as well. For my hollandaise sauce that I used to pour on top of my green beans, I first have to measure my unsalted butter. It is supposed to be 90 grams. So I'll use the measuring scale to measure it. So 90 grams. It is 90 grams. I'll melt the butter in the pan and then skin the froth from the surface with a spoon afterwards, and then I'll let it cool until tepid. Here's my butter. I'm melting it. And I now have to put the glass bowl over a saucepan with scalding water, and then I have to heat and mix until the mixture leaves a rib in a tray for 5 seconds. Make sure that the glass bowl is not too hot or the eggs will scramble. I removed the egg yolk mixture from heat, and then I have to whisk it in the tepid butter a little at a time until the sauce thickens. Now I'm sanitizing the area I was using. and I'm washing the equipment that I was using. Okay, for my dessert, I have been making a mousse, chocolate mousse. So I have to first measure my dark chocolates. They have to be 225 grams. For 225. So it's 0, 50, 100, 150, 200. Now I'll spoon the chocolate mixture into small teacups and refrigerate for 2 hours. I am now refrigerating my chocolate mousse. I chilled the evaporated milk in the refrigerator overnight. Now I'm mixing the dry ingredients of this measure. Sugar is supposed to be 160 grams. It's 160 grams. And then I have to add a pinch of salt, pinch of salt, $15 ml of cornstarch. I'm using a 5 ml measuring spoon, so it will be 5 ml. 5 ml. 1, 2, and 3. Now mixing the dry ingredients. Now I have to scald 250 ml of milk. I'll put it in the microwave oven. Put it in the cup. Then I'll take it to the microwave. Then so 1 minute. Now I'll stir and cook the mixture over low heat and until thick and done. I'm beating the egg and I will gradually, okay, I'll return the mixture to the saucepan. I'll stir it and cook it over low heat. I'll cool the mixture. Then after it's cold, I will add the almond and the vanilla essence. Then I'll freeze it partially. Now I'm cleaning the kitchen. Cleaning my appliances. And now I have to sanitize the area I was using to prepare the ice cream mixture. Then afterwards I had to wash the dishes that I was using. Wash the cloth. Wash the dishes. Now I'm plating my dishes. I'll first wash my hands. Then afterwards, I'll first dish up my starter. Here's my starter. And then I'll dish up my main course. I put together my ice cream with my chocolate mousse. And then now I'll have to make a deco using my strawberries and my cocoa powder. I'll cut my strawberries in half. And I'll make hearts. I'll then sprinkle my my cocoa powder on top of the ice cream. Then I melt it. Now I'm preparing my dishes. I'll first start with my starter, which is chicken hearts with onions and mushrooms. What I'll do first is wash my hands, which is chicken hearts with onions and mushrooms. I will be using a pan, and I'll first put my heat on medium high, and then I'll add 125 ml of my butter, which is I measured with my 125 ml measuring cup. So I've added my butter. Now I'm measuring my flour. I'm using 125 ml measuring cup, which I use for my butter. I first washed it, then I wiped it to make sure there's no cross contamination, and I want to use a safe equipment. My flour is supposed to be 125 ml, so my flour is 125 ml. So the requirement is that I add my 125 ml of flour slowly. Now I have to remove the chicken hearts tops and cut them in halves. Cut the chicken hearts in halves. Now I have to measure my vegetable oil. It's supposed to be 15 ml. I'm using a 15 ml measuring spoon. And then I have to add it to a pan over medium-high heat. Here's my pan. I'm adding my flour. After that, I have to wash the measuring spoon. Now my sliced chicken hearts, I have to put them in a bowl so that I can slice my mushrooms and my onions. The chicken hearts. Then after that, I will sanitize the area I was using. The paring knife I use for the cutting of the chicken hearts. I washed it first before cutting the onions and the mushrooms. My mushrooms are supposed to be 125 ml and 120. I'm slowly stirring in my chicken broth, which is measured for 20 ml. After that, I have to wash all the dishes. Here I have my salted boiling water, so I have to add my rice. And I have to slowly stir it. For my stuffed chicken breast, I have to flatten my chicken breast first. I don't have a mallet, I have a rolling pin, so I use my rolling pin as an alternative. First, I have to flatten them using the rolling pin. Yeah, here's my chicken breast. Now I'm washing the equipment that I was using. My rice is now boiled, so I have to heat it in cold water. In the plate, and then I have to place it in the fridge until it's cold. I use the foil to cover my rice. I add the cream, 15 ml of cream, using the 15 ml measuring spoon. That's my cream. And then I added the unsalted butter. First, I have to cut the unsalted butter into pieces. Cut into pieces. To fry my rice, I have to add 4 ml of oil in the saucepan. I'm using a 5 ml measuring spoon, so it will be almost full to measure 4 ml. It's not full. Put in the saucepan. Then I have to add 10 ml of butter. So my 10 ml of butter will be 5 ml of the measuring spoon. 5 ml measuring spoon. Heating oil and butter. I'm blanching my green beans in boiling water for 3 minutes. drained the boiling water from the green beans, and then I'll leave it to allow the excess water to evaporate, and then I'll remove it from heat. And then now I will heat butter and olive. My olive oil is supposed to be 15 minutes, so I'll measure 15 minutes. And then I add it in the pan. And then my butter is supposed to be 15 minutes as well. I'll add my green beans, my blanched green beans to the pan and stew for 5 minutes. And then I'll remove the heat. For my hollandaise sauce that I used to pour on top of my green beans, I first have to measure my unsalted butter. It is supposed to be 90 grams. So I'll use the measuring scale to measure it. So 90 grams. It is 90 grams. I'm using a glass of a glass bowl to whisk my egg yolk and water. So I'll measure my water. My water is supposed to be 25 mils. I'm using a 5 ml teaspoon to measure. So it's 5, 10, 20, 25. And then I have to put in an egg yolk. Break my egg in a bowl. Only the egg yolk that I need. So make sure that I first separate my yolk from the whites. Now I only have the egg yolk. I'll put it in the water. And then afterwards I'll have to add a bit of pepper, to taste, a bit of pepper and a bit of salt. And then I'll whisk together. A bit of pepper and a bit of salt. I now have to put a glass bowl over a saucepan with scalding water, and then I have to heat and mix until the mixture leaves a ribbon tray for 5 seconds. Make sure that the glass bowl is not too hot or the eggs will scratch. And I have to squeeze it in a separate bowl. I have to add the lemon juice in the egg yolk sauce. Now I'm placing a bowl over a pan of simmering water, and I'm making sure that the water doesn't touch the bottom of the bowl, and I'll gently melt. Now I have to separate the egg yolks from the egg whites. I'll put my egg whites here. My egg yolks there. I then have to measure my caster sugar. It's supposed to be 100 grams. Tea. 100 grams. It's 100 grams. Then I have to whisk together the egg yolks and most of the sugar. And I have to leave some sugar I have to measure my butter, and it's supposed to be 170 grams. My unsalted butter, 170 grams. It is 100. Once the chocolate is cooled slightly, I'll have to whisk the chocolate into the egg yolk and sugar mixture. Now I'm melting the butter in a pan over a low heat. Now I'm whisking the melted butter into the chocolate mixture. Chocolate mixture. Now I'm whisking the remaining sugar with the egg whites. I'm using an electric mixer to mix them with they're light and fluffy. The egg whites and the chocolate mixture. Now mixing the dry ingredients. Now I have to scald 250 ml of milk. I'll put it in the microwave oven. $250 ml. Put it in the cup. Then I'll take it to the microwave. Then 1 minute. I will gradually add milk into the dry ingredients, stirring. Cook the mixture over low heat and until thick and done. And I'll gradually stir in the hot mixture. I'll return the mixture to the saucepan. I'll stir it and cook it over low heat. I'll cool the mixture. Then after it's cooled, I will add the almond and the vanilla essence. Then I'll freeze it. I'll add 5 ml of vanilla essence using a 5 ml a measuring spoon. And then I'll add 1 ml of almond essence, using 1.2 ml, so it won't be full, it will be almost full. Make 1 ml. And I'll mix, and then after that I'll freeze partially. I'll cover the mixture with a clean wrap so that I'll be able. Now whipping my chilled evaporated milk. Whip it. And I'll fold partially the frozen mixture. Now I'm whipping my cream. Then afterwards I will fold the mixture I made earlier with this whipped cream. Here is my whipped cream. And I'll fold the evaporated milk mixture into the whipped cream. And whisk it and whip it. And now I'll cover the bowl with the ice cream mixture and freeze it in the deep freezer. Using to prepare the ice cream mixture. Then afterwards I had to wash the dishes that I was using. Wash the cloth. Now I'm dishing up my mini meal. I first wash my hands. And then I'll use this dish to make my plating look nice. So I'll do it like this, so plate it in my rice. When I mix my rice with bell peppers, red pepper, green pepper, and as well as yellow pepper. Okay, now what I'll do next, my green beans. Place it nicely. Mix my rice. And then That's my green beans, nicely mix my rice, and then I'll pour the hollandaise sauce on top of the green beans. Then afterwards, I'll pour my ginger, carrot emulsion next to my rice. And then I'll place my stuffed chicken breast. And then I'll shape this one to make it stand. And for my starter, I'll decorate my starter with a parsley, slice of lemon, now I'm plating my desserts. I have my chocolate mousse, and I have my ice cream. I'll scoop my ice cream